Hey, listeners. This is Victoria. I'm your host on this podcast, Worlds Collide. And in today's episode, I revisit an old guest of this podcast. Do you remember Evan from season 1? He moved from the US to Hungary. And when we talked last, he was just there for 2 months. So I wanted to see how's it going over there because his time has tripled since we last talked. And so I thought he definitely has some improvements and some news and things changed because when you're new, everything can change so fast. So yeah, that's why I wanted to follow up and see what was going on with him. And yeah, he definitely has some news different than everyone expected. But I don't want to say too much. So please listen. Here it is. Hi, Evan.
Hey, Victoria. How are
How's
you?
it going?
Glad to be back.
Good.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, so we haven't talked for a while. And last time we talked, you more or less arrived in Budapest. You were just there for 2 months.
Yeah,
How long?
was it? Yeah, that's crazy.
How
I
long
think
is it now?
it's been like 8 or 9 months now. Eight
Okay.
months, something
So
like
you're
that.
still there?
I'm still there, but I guess that's what we got to talk about, right?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I haven't heard from you, so I thought maybe things changed because 2 months is such a short time, and now
Mhm.
the time's quadrupled.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I guess I'll get into it. Yeah, so it's been a crazy time here. I mean, there's been like so much because it's like when you show up like for the it wasn't my first time at Budapest when I showed up 8 months ago, but it was my first time like trying to make it work here
Mm-hmm.
with my partner that I'm living with. So yeah, it's been I guess it's been an adventure. I've seen a lot of Hungary. Um, Traveled a little bit around Europe some more, but that really wasn't my plans. It was just trying to establish myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But unfortunately, recently my visa got denied, and so I have to go.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. So it's been dealing with that. We got my visa like decision letter, um, I got 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks ago. And
Oh
so they were
man.
like, you have 30 days to leave the EU. So
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, that must have been a shock.
yeah, definitely. And it's been a lot of stress already just trying to make everything, just trying to get it to work generally. And
Oh.
so this is like, we really thought we were going to be all right. And then it turns out that it wasn't enough. So, yeah, so I'm actually returning back to the US on Saturday. So, yeah,
Oh
so
my God, like
yeah.
in 3 days?
Yeah, but yeah, whatever it is, 4 days. So
Oh
it's
my
been,
God.
yeah. So it's been like it's just been so much to handle, so much to deal with. On top of all the other stress that we were dealing with, anyways, we just didn't expect to get denied, and so
Right.
um,
Did they make an explanation and said
no, no,
why?
they didn't give us any explanation. And so I don't. We could have appealed it, but the lawyer we had um, basically said that there's probably not a chance you get the appeal. And
Oh,
so we were like, okay, all right, like this is what we have to deal with. And so,
so what
sorry.
was your process like? Your process
Yeah.
of thought?
Oh man, I think it was just like crap. Like,
Okay.
so it's been a lot. I mean, especially because because I'm here because of my partner, and she's Hungarian, and she's finishing
Mhm.
her degree. She has like 2 months left until she graduates,
Okay.
and so but it's been so much stress and pressure for us just trying to get me to stay here, just because we want to be with each other. It's just like the legal, like bureaucratic and kind of logistical stuff that just makes it so much pressure. And
Right.
so I think in a lot of ways it's like a relief because we don't have to deal with that anymore. But then it's like we have to figure out what's next.
Just
And
how do you gonna
so
continue your relationship?
yeah, I mean, I mean, I've so there's like a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of options, right? It's like, um, we're not we're not, yeah, well, I guess it gets really personal, but it's like we're not like leaving each other. We're just
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like what are we to do? We have to separate. And it's like there's like the long distance thing, and I've done long distance before, and that's really difficult.
Uh-huh.
But we're not yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we've struggled so hard to make it work. It's because we want to make it work, and we are making it work. It's just like a big question mark as to like when we'll be able to see each other again, and how does it
Yes.
look like, and all these things. And I think
Uh-huh.
the more I think about it, it's like these are questions that I've dealt with before, but also this is a unique situation, and this is I think this is something to talk about because I guess when we're talking about like people who move to another country, expats, what your podcast is all about. It's like this is part of the process for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's like such a big. This is what you have to deal with when you decide to fall in love with somebody else from another country or move to another
Right.
country for
Yeah.
it's like it's not what you want, and you wish it was easier, and you wish that these things didn't come this way or whatever, but it's just that's life, and that's what you have to deal with. And so that's what we're dealing with now. And I know we're far from the only person or the only people to be dealing with this sort of issue when you're from different places of the world. And so it's like you got to take it with stride and figure out what's next. And we're kind of just use this time to kind of recenter ourselves, get back with family and friends, and
Mhm.
see what's next. And again, it's not like I think it's like a big thing is like we're very strong with how we feel about each other. So it's not like we're trying to. This isn't like the end of something. It's just it's just the hurdle. You know what I mean? It's just a big hurdle that you have to get through, and it's more than disappointing. It's very sad, and we're struggling through it. But at the end of the day, it's always worth it to continue. As we were talking about before we started the podcast, it's like it's always worth it just to keep pushing through and seeing what you can do. So yeah, it's been a lot, but it's just trying to deal with everything. This past month has been like super super I don't know, just kind of heavy and and
Yeah, I
stressful for sure.
understand, but it seems like you're talking very positive about it. Is it trying to see the positive side of it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like that's just my personality.
Mm,
I'm really grateful to have that sort of mindset, and it's
mhm.
something that I've tried to cultivate. But it's not easy, you know what I mean? It's like being positive is hard. I think
Yeah, I
that's one of those
mean,
things that like me and my best friend always talk about. It's like you try to be positive, the positive person, the person that sees like the brighter side of things. But at the end of the day, like people see the outward side of that, but then it's a struggle to be that person. It's a struggle to constantly try your best to see the silver lining. But there's an inner battle there to keep positive in the face of a lot of other a lot of the difficulties and the problems that life hands you. And it's not without doubt, and it's not without negative thoughts or anything like that. It's just like
sure.
you can't pay attention to those because what does that really do for you?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help you in the situation either. It just make it worse.
Yeah, totally.
The dice have fallen. But did you expect it? I mean, when you got the letter, did you have like a feeling about it, or did you
um
know that there is a chance that they deny it?
Well, so here was the process. Is like we started the process when I got here, um,
Mhm.
and so we knew it was going to take a while, but we didn't expect it to take this long. And so um, it is. So basically, I was getting hired for a job that was like through my partner's um,
Parents.
parents, and they
I
were.
remember you, explained
Yeah.
it on the podcast.
I
Mhm.
don't think that was on the podcast, actually. I
Oh,
think
I
I
did I
oh,
take it
maybe
out?
it maybe you
Okay.
might maybe it was, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
I remember we talked about it, and I might have cut it
yeah.
out.
So they were helping me with their because they have,
A dental
yeah,
thing.
dental practice here. So
Yes,
they
dental
were they were
practice.
helping me get a visa, like, hiring me for that business, and so we submitted the application, and that was the whole process. But did what I had to do there, and it took forever. And we would just wait months for a response, and it was like they didn't say anything back. Nothing was. They never told us anything. We went to the office many times just to like the immigration office just to like get an update, and eventually they were like, "Oh yeah, you have to do this," and you're like, "Well, why didn't you tell us earlier that we needed to do these things?" And
Mm,
so, and then we would wait more months, and we didn't have an answer or anything, and they would just say it's processing. And even though they told us the last time we talked to them that it was like, "Yeah, you'll get your visa letter." They're like, "You're good. You have all the documents. You have submitted everything. You're gonna get a response in 15 days." 15 to like
okay.
30 days or 60 days or whatever, and then you'll be good. You'll have it. And I was like, okay, sweet. And so that's what they told us, like the official people at the immigration office. And then literally like 3, 4 months went by, and we're like, where's this letter? Where is it?
Mm,
And then we kept checking back in, went to the office again, and they were like, "Yeah, it's just still processing." And we're like, "Okay." And so we honestly, like, we expected it to just we expected, like, we didn't expect the process to be this long, but we were like, "Okay, like whenever it comes in, we've done everything we could. That's processing, like they said we were good. So we should be good." And then all of a sudden they sent us a letter that said no. And so you have to leave in 30 days. And that was like, just that was at the beginning of the month. So that wasn't even 2 weeks ago. And so then it was like, okay, all the plans we had, all these things that we had going on, and all the stresses we'd been dealing with just to make it work. And because we were planning on moving to another country and doing all these other things because we didn't want to stay in Hungary.
I
Um,
remember, yes, you talked about
yeah.
it.
So we were planning on moving somewhere else in January and all these other things. And so, yeah, so when it came in, yeah, it was a shock because we were like, because they literally told us we were good. And so, you know, I don't know. I don't know all the reasons, but it's like one of those things that life puts in front of you where you have to face it. Either you just have to accept it. I think it's just with,
Right,
you have to
right.
accept it and see what you can do with the situation at hand, and that's all we can do.
Mm, and but you purchased then your tickets pretty fast though to back to the US.
Yeah, well, I had to because it was like you have 30 days, and I was like, well, I might as well make it back for Thanksgiving because my family is, you know what I
Right.
mean.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go back, and I guess I'm gonna go back. And so yeah, if I'm gonna go back, I might as well make it in time for that. And so I'm gonna go visit my family on the west coast of the U.S. Just kind of visit them, say hello. So that'll be good. And then I'm actually moving to. I used to live in Maine, Portland, Maine, and so
Uh-huh. Oh, Portland, Maine. Oh, not Portland, Oregon.
oh,
Okay.
I've lived in Portland, Oregon as well, both
Well, yeah,
Portlands.
okay. I had that in mind too. I was like, it was
Yeah.
Oregon.
Portland,
Mm-mm.
Oregon was named after Portland, Maine. Actually, a little fun fact.
Ah,
It was between that and Boston, and they named it Portland because the founder of Portland, Oregon, liked Portland, Maine. That's a little trivia for you.
okay. Uh-huh. Okay.
Really
Okay, good
important.
to know.
Yeah, yeah. But no, so my best friend lives there, and I've already have my friends there, and so I'm gonna go back there for a little bit and see what I can do,
Uh-huh.
and just figure it out. That's all we can do. I mean, that's we just have to take it day by day and
Right.
figure out what we
Does
can do.
so and when your girlfriend's gonna graduate, is she gonna come to visit or
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's again, like, that's why I think it's been so stressful and difficult and just kind of really tough on us because there's just a big question mark as to like what's going to
right?
happen. And we have, we've come up with ideas and plans and stuff. But it's all very much still a question. And it's not that we're definitely not, like losing each other, but it's like there's still there's just a process to this that we need to go through in order for us to see clear and gain perspective
Mm,
on what the next step is. And so that's the most mature and thing we can do to figure out what's next for us. But it's not. I think that's the thing is like what I gain confidence is our the love I feel and the love we have in our relationship. So it's like whatever works is I just have to trust in that, and we'll figure it out as the time goes by and as we get more perspective on everything. So
I remember she also said she wouldn't mind moving to New York at some point.
yeah, yeah, you should talk. I'm glad. I'm surprised you remember that. She's always dreamed of moving into New York. So look, if that's what it takes, then that's what I'll take. That's what it takes to get her
You
out there.
you can maybe move to the suburbs.
Yeah, right.
It's not that
That's
expensive.
what I'm saying. I'm like her name's Dorsey. I'm like, Dorsey, it's like, look, New York would be sick if I could afford it. It's if I don't know if I'm down to pay $5,000 in rent right now. I can't afford that. So if you want to be homeless, sure. But
Let's try bridge.
yeah, yeah. But no, I don't know. There's a lot of things of like there's a lot of ideas that we can do. It's like maybe she comes out to visit for a little bit, and
Yeah,
then while I have like an apartment and stuff, or I can try to get like a student visa out here and go to school.
that's right.
And so there's other ideas, and there's things in the works that are like very tentative because we don't really know exactly what the next step is going to be, just because we're also just figuring out our own lives individually. You know what I mean? And so
Right. She
as
just
a
finished school.
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's a big step in life, right?
huge, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Figuring it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. So she's just trying to figure out herself right now, and so it's like we we will take it the best we can, and that's all we can do. And so I mean, I think it's just kind of it's just the process. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're far from the first people to have dealt with this sort of thing. People, I think it's like one of those things you sign up for when you decide or when it happens to your life that you try to make it work with somebody from another country. It's like if that's the decision that you make in your life, these are the sacrifices that you need to go through. Like this is just something. These are things that happen. You know what I mean? And so
I know, but
you do everything you
I
can to
was not
avoid it. But
expecting it. I
hey, me
thought
neither.
I actually wrote down, so what's your visa situation right now? That was like one
Yeah,
of the questions I had for you.
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, nobody expect. I feel like it's like, especially when they tell us we're good, and I didn't expect it either. But it's like one of those things where it happens, and we know we did everything we could to avoid it. But we're both figuring out what the next step is, and then that's all we can do. So yeah.
Yeah, but I know quite a few people. Also, like I talked to a few people from America who moved to Europe,
hmm
and the easiest way always was to get a student visa, like even if it's just for a language program.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So definitely, but there, yeah. So it's definitely an option for sure, and I'm definitely heavily considering it. Um, and
Have you
so, but
already did you already go to, I don't
no,
know,
I've never.
university or
I've
college
been,
or
but I've never
oh, you haven't
completed.
finished?
Yeah, yeah, I've never
Oh,
finished.
okay, just get a degree.
Yeah. I mean, so like I actually really do want to go back to school, so it's definitely one that I'm heavily considering doing. But it is going to be a process of me applying to schools and stuff and seeing where I
Yeah,
want to go, and it's
yeah,
still going to take time to like get that visa. It's not like it's going to save me right now to like apply, and I can't just stay here. So
yeah.
there's a process to that, and it's still it's going to be if that is the route that we end up choosing, I think that could definitely work. It's just a matter of going through like what exactly I need to do that. And so, yeah, that's definitely an option. And so it's just something to consider among many other things.
Yeah, I heard through this podcast. I had one of my guests. He also decided to go to university after his work and travel visa. He went to
Mm,
Ireland with a work and
mm,
travel visa for a year,
mm.
and then the cheapest university he found for exchange students was in Portugal.
Oh yeah.
So that was like the cheapest way of studying.
Okay. Yeah, that would be an option. I've been. Hey, it'd be sweet to surf there.
Yeah, exactly.
Good surf.
And he's in Lisbon, so Lisbon, I think it's a great city.
Oh yeah,
Porto
yeah.
too.
I'm sure that would be beautiful. I'm sure. I think it's also like too like what fits our lifestyles.
Right,
Um, and I think I'm not. I think it's like a really good option to get a student visa, and so that's what I'm heavily considering right now. It's just a matter of me doing research on it and seeing what the best fit is.
right,
Um, and yeah, I think it's like that's the thing right now. I'm just in a it's like a big question mark, and I am just doing my best to kind of answer the questions I can right now, and then
mm,
as time goes on, it'll be clearer as to like
mm,
what the best option is and when all these things were going to get figured out. But there's nothing I can do about it today. So right now, it's like I got to get back home. I gotta find a place to live. I gotta,
Mm-hmm.
get a job and just make some money in the meantime to make sure I can, I'll get by. And I'm really
Mm-hmm.
good at just moving to new places. So
Okay.
I have no doubt that I already lived in Portland, Maine, anyways. So I'm excited to go back, see friends and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be good. So I already have a community I'm going back to, which is like super helpful.
And they're
To
also welcoming you.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah. So me and my buddy are already we're gonna find a place to live. Um,
Okay.
and so it's just that, like, these are the things we kind of have to do in the interim until our life reveals what the next step is. And
Right.
so that's all you can do. I think that's just life generally, is you gotta just take what it comes, and you don't expect it and you don't want it. It's not what you think you need. And that's like something I always try to remind my partner with, is she's always like, it's not what I wanted, it's not what I thought I needed. And it's like, yeah, me neither. But
Uh,
that's life. It slaps you upside the face, and you just have to deal with what it gives you. And it's all, I always take it as like, it's all for a reason. It's all for a purpose. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't have all the answers. I'm never gonna figure them all out. But I have to believe that what's put in front of me is what I need, whether or not I know it, or not. And so that's what I am trying to do right now. And it's not an easy battle to continue fighting every day, especially when you've been fighting it every day.
mm,
And yeah, but it's all you can do. And that's like what I always try to emphasize on my show, is like, that's, it's like, what is that? What is life? Why does it give you these things? Make you why does it challenge you in the way that you thought you wouldn't need to be challenged?
mm-hmm.
And I don't know. But it's like the constant thought. It's like the constant communication with yourself about that, and with other people, and relying on other people to get you through, because I know I can't do it all on my own. And that's why I'm really happy to have built a community for myself back home. And so that's huge. That's big for anything. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of people I need to see, and a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time, that I'm excited to go see, and continue building those relationships stronger too. So it's not all bad. You know what I mean? It's just what we have to go through. And that's what everyone's dealing with within their life. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Oh man, that was a different outcome than I thought.
hey, me too. But
Yeah.
that's what I
Oh.
got.
Well, but so I guess your story is not over here.
No, no, it's
So
not.
you still have the big wherever it will lead you to.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's I
Yeah.
think that's the, I think that's again like one of those things I try to tell my partner, is like, look, none of us expected this. Neither of us wanted this. But you know, this is it's not the end of anything. It's just
Just
it's
start of a
like
new journey, kind
it's the
of.
start of something that we both equally need, and we need to figure out what the purpose is behind it. And if anything, like, this is only going to strengthen our relationship, and try to, whatever we need to do in order to make it work is what we'll do. But it just brings us closer together, because you know how much you care for that other person, how much you want to be with
Mm,
them. And no matter what distance and time and space, like, that life puts in front of you, it's not about that. You know what I mean? You don't let go of the other person just because the government tells you, you have to go back. It's like,
right.
yeah, it's a setback for sure. It's a huge setback. But you know what I mean? It's like, you can't view it in that way. You have to take it, and you have to be like, look, it's not fair. I don't get it, but it's not the end. We're going to work through this, and we're going to persevere through the challenges, because that's all we can do. And if this is what we are meant to be doing, if we're meant to, truly be with each other, then we'll work through it. And that's what I focus on, and that's what I know in my heart to be true. So, you just have to go through it. But it's like, accepting that and going through that is the hardest part. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah. Well, these are nice. This is nicely said.
I'm trying to keep positive, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh
it is
man.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what's going on. That's
Okay, well, okay, that's a big thing going on.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what to say because like my list of questions were completely
Yeah. You
going
probably
for
had
a
a list like, wow,
different.
where are you going to next? What's it like
Yeah, it's
there
like
now that
how.
you're so settled in?
Yeah, how has the experience been so far? Did your Hungarian improve?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can answer those questions. I think like the experience I've had here has been great. Like I really I've really enjoyed my time in Hungary, and it's been a very productive for me. I've been able to really work on a lot of the personal life, like my life projects that I'm doing to get myself to the place I want to be. And so that's like been super huge for me to be able to have the time and to have the space to do that here. And that's been
Yeah.
really, really productive. I've been very productive in that sense. And I'm incredibly grateful for all the opportunity that it has given me. And so I'm excited for that. Excited to continue that. Um, and it's like moving, being, I'll never, I'm sure I'll be back at some point, but I'll never take this time for granted, and I think
Mhm.
it's really, really, it's been a really interesting experience for me to live in a different culture and
Yeah.
experience the history and the society and the culture in Hungary and in Budapest. And I've seen a lot here, and it's been great. And I've really cherished the moments that I've I've been I've been shown, and so yeah, it's been great. And I've traveled a lot of Hungary, and so that it's been really cool seeing the country. And I just got back. My sister visited me.
Oh, nice.
She actually this week, as soon as we got the letter, my sister
Oh.
was like, already had a planned trip out here, and we went to Vienna and Prague. And so I
Oh,
was like,
sweet.
yeah, I mean, it was sweet, but it was also incredibly stressful. So it's like
Mm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
like what am I supposed to do? And so
Can I really enjoy it?
I couldn't really enjoy it and couldn't be
Mm.
as present as I would have hoped
Yeah.
for, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a good, but it was just like it was just a lot to handle
Right.
at the time everything is going down. And so yeah, I mean, and in terms of my Hungarian, I know some words and phrases to get by, but I cannot speak Hungarian.
Yep.
Um
But now you
and
don't need to.
and I don't need to anymore. I mean, that's what I have my partner, she's my personal translator.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
um but yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think just experiencing the culture has been really interesting, and learning about like the politics and like the history. I think is for me really been incredibly interesting. I
Mhm.
think that's what I gravitate towards most when I like travel, is kind of understanding like the uh the history about a place, and like why the culture is the way it is. And so with Hungary, it's been really informative, and I've been trying to read Hungarian literature, and my partner is always talking to me about like the political philosophy and stuff like that. And so and it's so I'm really, really grateful for all of that sort of knowledge and wisdom that I wouldn't have been able to have if I hadn't spent my time here. So
Mhm.
I knew nothing about Hungary before, like 2 years ago. I knew nothing, and then I started coming here, and I was like, oh yeah, it's very interesting. So
Yep.
yeah.
Did you go to all the bathhouses? Or like
I went to
all the
one.
to one?
I went
Mhm.
to one, and I wouldn't go again, but it was interesting. And it's like huge. Everyone's like big with the bathhouses, but
Why
I,
wouldn't I go again?
yeah, well, it's just like it's interesting because like my partner, she's young, and she has like her friends are young, and so her best friend is like, let's go to a bathhouse. And my partner had never been before, and she was like, I don't know. And so I was like, let's go. And so we went, and then her friend really enjoyed it. She had a great time. And then I was like, and she hated it. And then I was like somewhere in the middle where I was like, this is interesting, but I don't necessarily want to like sweat in a tub
A lot
in
of
a
other
in
people.
with a lot of other like overweight Hungarian men. And so, but there was a lot of different types of people there, and so I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went. It was interesting, and I could say I did it. I've really checked off all the boxes I could in Hungary, so I'm glad I did it. But I wouldn't. I don't know if I think I would recommend it if you're like open to it. Go see it, but it's not something I would do
Okay.
again.
Or you made
Neither
the
would my partner.
experience.
So, and she's
Check.
Hungarian. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Check the box. But yeah, I mean, I think there's so much to more to Hungary than the bathhouses, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah, okay. Well, I hope we stay in touch and then you give me an update on how everything will turn out
yeah,
and
totally, totally,
how you settle in Maine.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
Especially you're
for
gonna
sure.
come when it's fucking cold.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna come
You go
straight in the middle,
straight into
straight in
winter.
winter, and it's the beginning of winter, so it's gonna just
It's
be
gonna
a
be
lot, especially in
long.
Maine. Yeah, I mean, I'd spent a winter in Maine before, and it's brutal. It's like blizzards, -20, like it's like cold.
Yeah.
And so but I like the cold, and for me. It's not necessarily about. I mean, the weather plays a huge factor, of course, but it's not
Right.
about the weather. It's about like the community I have there and the
Yeah.
friends, so like that
Yeah.
that will get me through more than
Yeah.
the snow. I can deal with the snow, but it's.
100%.
I mean, especially because I'm from California, so I'm like I grew up never seeing snow. I mean,
Yeah.
I still so there's snow in the mountains, but like when you're living
Beach.
by the coast,
Yeah.
it's not it is not
It's not that
it's
close
not
though where
snowing.
you're from.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because like I mean, I grew up, spent 23 years of my life in Southern California, and then I moved to Maine, which is the complete opposite side, as far
As
right
you
of the
can,
country I
right.
can get, and opposite. And now I'm like adjusting to like living there, but I'm excited. I really like New England. I love New England. The seasons there are beautiful, and the weather there is like, yeah, I mean, you got to deal with the harsh long winter, but if you can get through that, like the rest of the year is beautiful. I think that's what
Yeah. Yeah,
everybody
I
says, you know.
follow I have a on my Instagram like a main fall pictures,
Yeah.
because it's so
Nowhere.
pretty.
No, it's true, but like nowhere, I feel like nowhere else, like when you're like around that area, like, like Massachusetts, just New England generally, it's like the most like, yes, you got to deal with the harsh winters, but if you can get through that, you're set up for the rest of the year. So it's like half the year is like snow,
Yeah, but
but once you get through that, it's just gorgeous, and you see everything. Like the spring is spring, this fall is fall, the summer. It's like so beautiful and so nice, and it's worth it, in my opinion, because it is so nice, and I love it. I really do love it there. It's definitely like I definitely can see myself being there for a while if that's what life has for me. So,
it's also on my travel list.
oh, you've never
It
been
look
to New England?
No, never.
Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's really
I mean, have you
pretty.
done a lot of traveling around the states?
Um, a little bit, but I haven't been to New England at all.
Oh, okay.
I think like the
Yeah.
closest to that area was New York and Chicago, further up north or
Yeah.
further east,
Yeah.
west. Sorry, further west.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Well, you got to go. I mean, the best time to go is like fall, in my opinion,
Mm,
like early fall, just because it's just beautiful. Obviously, fall anywhere is great for the most part. So like especially in New England, but like summer is beautiful. Spring, but like don't go now.
yeah, don't go
Wait.
now. Just don't. Just avoid the winter. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you
Yeah.
have to go. It is incredible. I didn't know what it was like out there until I made it over there, and I was like living out there for almost a year. A year, a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, this place, I've been missing out. This place is awesome. So,
Yeah, definitely. I have to visit.
yeah,
Well,
for
I
sure.
wish you the best. I hope you figure it out somehow that you're gonna can be with your girlfriend
Yeah,
and that long
thank you.
distance thing is only for a short while.
Yeah, hey, tell her that. I'm just trying trying to like convince her, like it's fine. It's gonna be okay. It's like,
Yeah, I think like once she graduated,
hmm
she has more options.
hmm definitely. And I've done long.
And
I like. It's like long distance is like it can look a lot of different ways. And so like I've done long distance before. I used to be in the Marine Corps, the U.S.
mhm.
Marine Corps, and so like I've been on deployments and stuff where I had to leave for like 6, 7 months at a time and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like I get it, and I've constantly been moving and like leaving the people I love behind, but always coming back. Like I'm not abandoning anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like I think just because I have dealt with it a lot, it's been extremely beneficial for my perspective on this. It doesn't make it like less easy. It doesn't make it any more easy, but it makes it I'm more confident in what I have to do. You know what I mean? Because it's what I've done before, and so that is I think that's just something huge that I take into it, and that she doesn't necessarily have that experience yet, and so it's like that's like a huge growth learning process for her, is like how do you handle this, you know what I mean? And so that's again, it's like everything's a learning process, and so I have dealt with a lot of similar situations before, so it's not my first time doing this, or my second or third time. Like I've done this before, and
Mm,
so it sucks, but I mean, like I know I'll be able to make it through, and I know I'll be able to like support her in the way that I need to support her in order for her to get through. And so, we're doing our best. So that's all we can
yeah.
do.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Let me just. Thanks,
Well, you can't
Evan.
end it like that. Well, you
No,
can't end it
no,
like
no.
that. It's like, all right, good luck, peace. Like, can't end
Schon
it like that.
mal.
Thank you. I appreciate the luck. I think I'll need it, but everyone needs a little bit of luck, right? But I'll be okay, and I look forward to the next time where we can talk. And we're like,
Yes, for sure. I'm very
we figured it out.
curious to see what's
Yeah, yeah,
like how it works out.
yeah. But you can't interview again because your podcast is about people who live in different countries. I mean,
Well,
I'm
but you
going back
can
to the
like,
U.S.
but but like still you can talk about what your returning process is like, and like your culture shock now, like
Yeah, it's true.
reverse
Yeah,
culture shock,
that's true.
or
There's always something to talk about there for
yeah,
sure. And maybe I'll be end up in some other country where we're like, yeah,
exactly.
you know what I mean. So
And let's see. I mean,
figure it out.
crazy story. Eh.
Crazy story. Thanks for having me on, though. I
Oh
appreciate.
yeah, no, anytime, anytime. Okay. All right, I was gonna push the stop button here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it, Victoria. Stop it now.
Yes, stop. That was Evan, and I was so pleased that he stayed so positive about his situation. And if you are in the same situation, he's a good example to look at things, like weigh out your options. The world isn't over. There are different visas and different possibilities to stay together with your partner, or to stay in the country that you call your new home now. I also got an update from Evan. He is now in Portland, Maine, and he just settled in. I mean, Thanksgiving was just 2 or 3 weeks ago, so everything is still pretty new, but he stays strong with his partner. So, yeah. And I'm sure we will hear from Evan again very soon. I definitely want to have an update for you, for me, to see how everything works out for him. And also a quick shout out to his podcast, which is called Existance, that you will also find wherever you listen to podcasts, and also on YouTube. That was it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. Reach out to me at worldscollide123pod@gmail.com, or also find me on Instagram. And yeah, please let me know if you want to be a guest on this podcast, or if you have any other comments for me. I am definitely down to hear it. And I hope you tune in again next week. Bye bye.